quite lovely. Snow is going. Suki's going too. When I make a move in this direction, that's what she does. She takes off down the driveway. Hey, we're going somewhere? Oh, crap. Not. I have come to the conclusion, based on my conclusions yesterday, that I didn't reach a confirmed conclusion, that I am not going to rake and put out grass seed this year. That would be a waste of time, grass seed, effort. I'm in a bit of a funk. This is election day, and I've been not wanting to tune in anything publicly, Facebook, radios especially, because they aren't going to have results for us. May have some results tomorrow, but in reality it'll be a week, and I don't know if I want to hear the results. I have great concern that this country is ending its worldwide prominence as a superpower. President Trump has hastened this state, and I think it's, if Biden were to be elected, and if that were to happen, we would first go through months of dispute and court cases, and Trump refusing to bow. And I'm a little worried because also we've got a military that is at his beck and call. I can see all manner of chaos, anarchy coming out of this election, and for the next months and years to come, we might be in a frightfully unbelievable, incomprehensible circumstance that we've gotten ourselves into by our selfishness, our self-importance. I want what I want, and it doesn't matter what's good for the whole, what's good for the country. I'm going to get what I want, and I don't care about my neighbors because they're just as selfish as I am, so I might as well get what I want. Oh man. And we think we're too big to fail. That's another attitude. If we think that, that means we're not too big to fail. I heard a couple days on the radio, a couple days ago, gun sales have exploded. First-time buyers. Gun stores are sold out of firearms and ammunition. I don't know why people feel that need to buy a gun right now. To protect themselves, obviously, that's their first argument, but from what? The fascists walking down the street, burning and looting? Maybe, I guess that's part of the argument. We think about things like this and that happening only in dictatorships of small countries that are not as advanced politically or intelligently as we are. And what turns out to be is that we are the ones that are not as advanced as countries like Japan and Korea. Any number of countries around the world that are even sick and tired of thinking about it. What concerns me too about the explosion of gun sales is we have had massive amounts of firearms floating around our country for years, more and more and more every year, and now we're going to have a swamp more of firearms. Everybody will be carrying. Well, I won't be. There are some people that are like me that they won't carry. Why don't I carry? Keep a pistol in the car to take into the grocery store with me. Well, hidden, of course. Maybe I should get a permit to carry. Carry my sidearm on a holster on my belt. So when I go into places like the grocery store or the tire store, nobody will fuck with me because I'm carrying. The trouble is, they will be carrying also. So what are we going to have, a shootout in the civilized store? End up with me and the other guy dead, and maybe half a dozen others dead. Maybe this is how it's all going to play out, with all the guns out there and the anarchical mood. All of the bad guys and the good guys will be killed off, and we can start from scratch with a couple thousand good people left to form what? Now, you're hearing the mad ramblings of a madman. I'm just analyzing these circumstances and what. I watched a video from somebody that I listened to. He's a scholar who has paid attention to world history. I don't know where I was going with this, I forgot. What I keep being reminded of is the balance of Trump supporters versus non-Trump supporters. And I am reminded of that, well, that it's almost 50-50. That 50% of the people in this country are Trump supporters. It's not a fringe group of kooks, 5% of the population, that have no real credibility. It's 50% of the population that has no real credibility or thinking, reasoning skills. And once again, it comes back to, I want mine. Trump's gonna do things to improve my financial situation, such as he's going to return to coal mining, coal burning, do away with clean power like wind and solar. He's going to put men back to work in the coal mines. And because of that, my financial situation, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking a person who believes that's the thing to do, is not concerned one iota about the environment, the earth, the longevity of the earth's surviving. It's just a matter of, I'll be dead in 30 years, so what do I care? How much further the earth falls into extinctions and warming won't matter. To me, it won't matter to me. And my children and grandchildren, well, they'll have to fend for themselves. I am not optimistic where we are going and I'll be dead in 10 years. So I might as well grab all the gusto now. Huh? Hitler, Nazi Germany. For a year or more, I have heard that coming from the Trump supporters at rallies, blindly shouting and yelling, "Yay!" as this man says nonsensical nonsense. The virus it's going away. He is just saying what nincompoops, unthinking, unreasoning people want to hear. And they cheer and they clap and they yell and they whistle. I have seen old newsreels of Hitler speaking from high up above contradiction, and the crowd, the masses are down there behaving exactly like the masses of people in this country at his rallies are behaving. 10,000 people in an arena. Why can't we see this and stop this man before he starts gassing gassing people that he considers to be unworthy, people with autism. Think about what people with autism have accomplished and could do that some normal people couldn't. Stephen Hawking, he couldn't even speak, for God's sake, but look at all that he was able to communicate. Are you depressed yet? Well, I am too. I may have talked about this, I don't remember. If I have, I'll edit out something so I don't have to repeat myself. World War II. Hitler continues advancing into Western Europe, taking over country after country after country. Churchill is pleading with Roosevelt to get America into this war to help protect Great Britain from being run over, taken over by Hitler. That was Hitler's next goal. So we engaged. I think our first engagement was Normandy. And I think before that, we were hit with Pearl Harbor by Japan. So we're on two fronts. We had no military up until that point. Very little military. We had a military, but it was only a few 100,000. And this country went into massive overdrive to build a military, engage factories and workers and women to go into work in the factories while the men went overseas to fight. The whole country was united in doing what we need to do to fend off and defeat this very, very serious threat worldwide from Japan and from Nazi Germany. And it took 4 years of everybody sacrificing in this country, everyone, women and children and whatever men were here, older people. Everything they did was rationing, had to sacrifice. They sacrificed. They worked for the common good, and it worked. Nobody thought about themselves, or very few people did. Anybody who did think about themselves and they were found out were ostracized by the society at large. You don't think that way. You don't act that way. We are all together for the common good. And only because of that was the U.S. able to be victorious in getting rid of Hitler and that whole scourge. We were worldwide admired for good reason. We were respected. And that's when we became the greatest country in the world. We did so much good to help heal countries, supported them financially with food. We did huge amounts of aid, helped rebuild Japan. We don't have that now. Anybody younger than my generation really has no concept. And you can teach that all you want in the schools, in the colleges, universities. The only way to learn it is to go through it. And that, in a way, I would be in favor of if we had to go through a really serious period of suffering, doing without, well, like the Depression. It would be hellish, and nobody wants to do that. We want to have it easy, comfortable, familiar, and regular and routine, and everything will be fine. I can buy my new car every other year. Well, I don't know if people do that anymore. They lease them every other year. And I have thought this for years. The only way we're going to get back on track as being a philanthropic country is to be put through absolute hell and maybe be taken over or threatened by North Korea, Syria. Of course, we've got the military. They wouldn't mess with us. We're a laughing stock around the world. I'm thinking in our reaction to COVID-19 and how Korea, China, Japan, even India, I understand, with as densely packed the people are in that country, 1.3 billion people in a country smaller than ours or half the size of ours. They have fairly successfully fought COVID-19 off. And here we are in a huge amount of hurt because failure of anybody to be a leader in taking charge in this country and saying, this is what we're going to do, and doing it, and really calling on the populace to follow along. This is very serious. We got to do it. And Trump comes out and says, oh, it's just sniffles. No leadership. That wouldn't serve him, so why do it? Okay, I'm going to stop. I don't want to go on a rant. I guess it's too late. Oh, jeez. My indoor slip-ons have been sullied by sand. Up until earlier this year, March, April, I had been indiscriminately just walking in and out of the house, leaving the shoes or boots I had on outside, wearing them inside. Got really tired of walking in sand and little pebbles that would fall out of the lugs of my boots and shoes. And began a campaign, and I mean campaign because it has taken, still is taking, months for me to get to the point where I will live in a house where shoes are taken off at the door. Yeah. Or shoes are taken off and you put on house slippers. It's very difficult to retrain. But the more I get ready for bed and walk around the house brushing my teeth, stepping on sand and little stones, the more intent I become on getting this down. And if I got 2 loads of groceries in the car or whatever to bring in, and I have to go in and out, it's very annoying to have to take your shoes off at the door, walk 10 steps, dump down what you've brought in, go back to the entryway, put your other shoes on, go out. It's a learning process, a disciplinary process. I really am dragging around a life of torment and trauma, aren't I? That's it for this time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button. See you next time.